human civilization in the knowledge arena the world over.
Education is the light in a dark room. It's the spark of a dream, a passport to the future, and the seed of generational change. Through education, we reflect on yesterday and define tomorrow. Rooted in South Africa and the African continent, UNISA can truly claim to be the African university in the service of humanity. UNISA stands at the pinnacle of education through open distance e-learning, with a footprint of students in more than 100 countries worldwide. Since the founding of the university in 1873 as an examining body, we have been a trailblazer. UNISA is the first and only institution in South Africa to carry our country's name with pride, and the first public university in the world to exclusively teach by means of distance education, an ever-changing dynamic university with a global reach. UNISA's history spans the entire modern history of South Africa, opening up a world of academic study opportunities for former activists and struggle heroes, thought leaders, business people, legal experts, acclaimed entertainers, and sports stars. The university takes pride in almost 1 million alumni, with 10 alumni chapters internationally, making their mark in diverse fields and capabilities. Some of the noteworthy alumni include President Nelson Mandela, Thabo Mbeki, who is also the Chancellor and custodian of the university's Calabash Awards, current President Cyril Ramaphosa, former South African Reserve Bank Governor Jill Marcus, and current one, Lesetja Kganyago. Internationally, Reserve Bank governors of Eswatini and Namibia, to name but a few. At UNISA, the World Wide Web is our educational playground, but we also have beautiful and impressive campuses. UNISA's Makelneuk campus is located in the city of Tshwane and is a major landmark of the capital city. The Florida campus in Johannesburg is UNISA's science campus, housing state-of-the-art infrastructure and laboratory equipment. UNISA has 6 regional hubs, including Ethiopia, and multiple centers across the country. We have embraced the fact that we need to adapt quickly to the fast-paced higher education environment of the 21st century, and this is reflected in our management style and leadership practice. In articulating her vision, the new Principal and Vice Chancellor of the University of South Africa, the first woman to be appointed at the helm of UNISA, Professor Puleng Linkabola, shared that UNISA is well placed to address society's most demanding challenges by using research to meaningfully transform the lives of those in our communities. To this end, UNISA is working on the following catalytic niche areas. Marine studies. As a discipline, marine studies covers field-specific studies like marine ecology and biology to policy-related studies like marine spatial planning and coastal economies. Many other areas of marine research and studies are covered in this niche area. Aviation and aeronautical studies. Aviation and aeronautical studies covers specializations in areas as diverse as aeronautical engineering and aerospace safety, and South Africa's 18 airports forms a major role player for passengers and goods transitioning to and from our country. This is a niche that supports a major component of the country's economy. Automotive studies. The South African automotive industry is projected to grow from 600,000 to 1.4 million vehicles a year in production. There is major potential to be explored in UNISA's commitment to automotive studies. In 2022, students from the Department of Mechanical Engineering participated in the Sasol Solar Challenge with their solar-powered car that travels from Johannesburg to Cape Town without using a single drop of fuel. Energy studies. UNISA's Institute for Development of Energy for African Sustainability specializes in designing chemical processes, reducing material and energy consumption, as well as carbon dioxide emissions. Space studies and Square Kilometer Array. UNISA has been extensively involved in the $1 billion Square Kilometer Array project since 2012, The UNISA Observatory, situated on the main campus, is a modern, well-equipped facility housing a 14-inch telescope where the College of Science, Engineering and Technology offers undergraduate courses in astrophysics and astronomy with specialization up to PhD level. Fourth Industrial Revolution and Digitalization. The fourth industrial revolution can be described as the advent of cyber-physical systems involving entirely new capabilities for people and machines. Examples include genome editing and new forms of machine intelligence. The College of Graduate Studies will support and promote studies into 4IR and digitalization, while the Graduate School of Business Leadership presents a short learning program on big data. Natural sciences. The simplest definition of biotechnological studies is applied biology, through the application of biological knowledge and techniques to develop products or services. UNISA's College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences is one of the main partners in the African Biogenome Project, a coordinated Pan-African effort piloting a project with a key objective of sequencing 100,000 endemic species. Health and/or pharmaceutical studies. The Department of Health Studies is prepared for the challenge of equipping their students with research skills and expertise in the field of health and pharmaceutical studies. The UNESCO UNISA Africa Chair in Nanoscience and Nanotechnology is leading the international research into the nano-delivery of medicinal drugs, including African herbal medicine. The College of Law offers an elective undergraduate model on medical law. Feminist, womanist, Wusadi theorizations. In the College of Human Sciences, the Institute for Gender Studies, the College of Education and the Graduate School of Business all contribute to the interdisciplinary research into eliminating gender-based violence, homophobia and transphobia, and discrimination against women in the workplace and the political arena. The Institute also uses education about gender as an effective way to achieve gender equality and the empowerment of women. Student support and co-curricular activities. UNISA is uniquely placed to offer creative and radically innovative ways of enhancing student support. UNISA's College of Graduate Studies has developed a whole range of training programs to assist and encourage students. The Advocacy and Resource Center for Students with Disabilities of Access for Success and the Student Development Division provides students with social support and leadership development services. These niche areas find expression in the rich tapestry of our disciplines included in the College of Accounting Sciences, Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, Economic and Management Sciences, Education, Graduate Studies, Human Sciences, Law, Science, Engineering and Technology, the Graduate School of Business Leadership, and the Thabo Mbeki School of Public and International Affairs. As a comprehensive open-distance e-learning institution, UNISA is recognized as a serious player in research globally. From publication and journal output to the number of master's and doctoral graduates, we are moving forwards and upwards. UNISA has made substantial progress in research and innovation, as evidenced by several external and credible scientific ranking systems, with the latest ones, the 2023 Webometrics and Shanghai rankings, placing us in the top 10 universities in the country. As Africa's leading open-distance e-learning university, we can reflect with great pride on the past 150 years of transformational education, and we are confident in our ability to succeed and become a truly high-performance university as we define tomorrow.
Did you know you are now able to book an online session with a student counselor on Microsoft Teams? To make a booking, simply click on the link or scan the QR code provided on our information page. or visit our webpage at www.unisa.ac.za/counseling and click on Contact Us, and then select Make an Appointment. All the available UNISA counseling centers will be displayed in all regions of the country. Select the center closest to you. Scroll down to select a date and time. You may even choose a specific counselor you wish to see. Type in all the required information. This will enable the counselor to assist you in the best possible way. And hit the Book button. You will immediately receive an email with the link to join the online session, and also a reminder one day before the session. We hope you will make use of this new service, and we hope you enjoy the workshop session.
Good morning.
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 Morning, man. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
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 How are you?
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Gemilang.
Everybody.
Teacher.
Morning.
Unknown participant is now exiting.
Apologies, colleagues. We're trying to fix the transcript and recording, so please give us 5 minutes. We'll start at 10 past 10 so that other students can be able to access the recording.
Unknown participant is now joining.
Apologies. Thank you so much for waiting. We were able to resolve the issue. Once again, good morning, everyone. My name is Rotondo Boy. I'm a TCGP, an intern here at the Ekurhuleni Regional Service Center, and I have the pleasure of being your program director today for the exam preps workshop for day 1. Firstly, I'd like to thank you for joining us this morning. We know how demanding this time of year can be, so we really appreciate you making the time to invest in your academic success. Can you please mute your mics? Right, this workshop has been specifically put together with you, the student, in mind to offer you practical tools, support, and guidance as we head into the exams season. We have a great lineup planned for today with speakers who will be sharing useful insights and strategies to help you manage your time, reduce exam stress, and study more effectively. Before we dive in, I'd like to hand over to Ms. Glora Vasitana, who will be able to officially welcome you and share the purpose of today's session. Vasitana, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Program Director. Once again, good morning to everyone joining us today. Welcome to the exam preparation workshop hosted by the Counseling and Career Development Unit. As my colleague has just mentioned, I am Basitsana Ntor, and I will be introducing our session for today. We are very thrilled to have you all join us here today because this workshop wouldn't have been a possibility without you attending. And we are very, very excited to share valuable strategies as well as tips to help you prepare for your upcoming exams. As we all know, the exam season is fast approaching, and as a fellow student myself, we all know that as students, it's natural to feel a mixed bag of emotions when exam season starts to approach. However, with the right mindset, preparation, and techniques, you can overcome obstacles and achieve these academic goals. I think actually you can give yourself a round of applause because by virtue of just attending this session today, you are already showing initiative and already being proactive and taking a proactive step towards achieving your academic goals. So the purpose of this workshop, throughout this workshop, we will be covering essential topics, including strategies for answering multiple questions and essays, followed by a discussion on Turnitin, plagiarism, and the effective various proctoring tools used, and also cover disciplinary and other exam-related matters. All of the speakers who will be covering these important topics are experts in supporting student success and will be providing you with practical advice and insights to help you develop effective study habits as well as develop effective exam writing tools. Before we begin and get into our program, I would advise that we have a little notepad on the side where you can jot down some key pointers that you might find informative and beneficial. I do hope that this workshop can be interactive and engaging and that you can have key takeaways that will help you in preparing for your upcoming exams. And without delaying the program any further, I would like to hand it back over to the program director. I do hope that you all enjoy the workshop curated specifically for you today. Thank you, program director.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome, Vasadzana. And as you stated, our first speaker for the day was going to be speaking on the topic of strategies for answering multiple questions and essays as Dr. Welcome Kubega. Dr. Kubega, the floor is yours.
Thank you, colleagues. Let me just try and share from my side. I'm hoping that I'll make it. Let me just quickly share. Okay, just go through. I'm hoping that I'll be able to share this. Just a second, please. Okay, just maybe here. Okay, yeah, it's coming. Okay, let me just try to make it more professional. Okay, I'm hoping that you are able to see the presentation from your side. Thank you, thank you. Thanks, the program director, Rotandwa, and also to Vasadzana for affording us this opportunity to share with our students. Please, colleagues, let me know if my voice is not audible enough. My name is Welcome Kubega. I am an accolade facilitator from Ekurhuleni Learning Center. So today I will be talking about strategies for answering multiple choice questions and essay questions, okay? All right, I hope the program says answering multiple questions, but I'll focus more on those two. Well, I found something interesting when I was preparing for this session. It comes from this prominent tennis player, Venus. I think she once said, just believe in yourself, even if you don't. Pretend that you do, and at some point you will. I like those words. They're very powerful, eh? So it tells us that you must believe in ourselves. Exam time, colleagues, we know it's very stressful to everyone, whether you are a new person coming to the institution or have been to the institution for some time. But when you are going to take the exams, there are a lot of things which are happening. There's a lot of stress, there's a lot of anxiety. We panic, you know. And if some of you are more of my first year students, I think the panic is going to be more now because to start with the exam you'll be taking, those are different exams which you are used to, and even the process itself is different. You know, we are coming from a situation whereby you are familiar with the invigilators moving around those big halls and so on at high school and other learning centers. But now, when you come to this issue, you won't see those invigilators moving around. So those things, they also bring some stress to you as a student. But let's quickly look at some aspects which you need to consider so that you'll be able to answer some of these questions in a good way. Remember that when you look at the multiple choice, especially at this level, and especially at this institution, talking also from the previous experience, I've been a student at this institution from some years ago. I know this multiple choice which they give you is not the same which you find it at high school. It's quite different, okay? So, but there are different types of exam questions. I think the first one is the multiple choice questions, which sometimes we think they are very easy, but I'm telling you, colleagues will see they are not so easy. We also have the case studies or scenarios. I'm not going to talk about the case studies and scenarios today, okay? I'm going to reserve that, okay? And also the essay type questions. Those of you who are writing those essay type questions out of 10 marks, 50 marks, 20 marks, we are going to talk on how to attempt those type of questions in the exam. And you also have the one which you like the most. I don't think they'll ask you about true or false or matching some of the components. I'm not going to talk about that also. Well, there could be maybe some cartoons there, maybe some of them, or in some of your modules. I think maybe when you're doing English and so on, there will be some cartoons there and there, but I'm not going to talk about that one. I'm going to focus only on the main two and also give some few pointers towards the exams. Not a lot, because I know that there's a colleague who's handling that one. Well, the multiple choice question strategies, there are various strategies. There are various, okay? And I know that sometimes at this level, I want to advise you, don't even think about the last strategy. Otherwise, you are going to be in trouble. Well, the first one, which I always encourage my students to apply, is that most of the time when you get multiple choice questions, you just need to choose the options which are given. Well, we are told sometimes, other authors, they'll tell you that always the middle answer is the correct answer. I don't know where does this come from, okay? If you have 5 options, A up to E, then it means C is the correct answer. Please, guys, don't choose C and say, Dr. Kupega said I must choose C. No. It's what other authors encourage, okay? But what I always like to do is that I always hide the options so that I don't see the options. Because if I see the options, which are the answers in that question, automatically, I will tell myself in my subconscious mind that number A or A is the correct answer because I'm seeing it. But if I close it, I don't see it and start to work on the statement first, then after I've worked on the statement, then I look at the option. The other way, another strategy, I always say to my students, you don't close the options, you leave the options the way they are, but what you need to do now, you just try to eliminate answers that are wrong or which are illogical or do not make sense. In other words, based on the options you are given, let's say option A, you read it, already you've read the statement, by the way, then you read option A. If there are few phrases or concepts which can make the statement to be incorrect, it means that option, you are not going to choose it. You go and do number B, C, and so on if there are 4 options. Let's assume that the last option, when you read it, you find that there's nothing which makes the statement to be incorrect, then you choose that option. But the last one, colleagues, even though I've said I discourage you to opt for it, definitely it's a multiple choice questions. In other institutions, what they normally do, when you have chosen the wrong option or answer, they penalize you. All right, but in other institutions, they don't do that. So if you are given 4 options and you've struggled to apply all the 2 strategies, why don't you take the last option? Hopefully, you're able to win. But I always say you must be careful. All right, because remember that the multiple choice questions we're talking about, you are not going to answer those questions if you don't understand or you have not internalized the content. They are very tricky, colleagues, I'm telling you. I'm not trying to scare you, but I know they're very tricky. So, but the other important aspect is that answers that include absolute, such as always, never, all, and none, makes the statement to be false. Okay? In other words, when you read the responses, or maybe when you read the options, if you see some of these phrases, it means the statement is going to be false. So you can't choose the statement. Okay? And also, make note of negative questions sometimes. Those are the questions that includes phrases such, which of these are not? All right, so you must be able to read some of these questions and look at the negative aspect, okay? You don't just have to choose the option. but the statement will tell you, all right? For example, all of these except. So if they say, they give you 5 options and they say all of this, but except this one. So you need to be able to understand some of those phrases. They are very simple, colleagues, but sometimes what happens with our students, we just rush and say, okay, it's a multiple choice question. Then you start to choose the option, all to find that you have not read the statement in detail. You must understand the statement in detail. We know that some of you guys, you don't get those multiple choice questions in the exam. For example, if you are doing accounting and all of those, we don't expect you to get such questions or multiple choice questions. Well, also what you need to do, how to analyze an essay type question. It's those type of questions which normally stresses our students. When a student sees 20 marks, you feel that's a lot. But how do you go about and make sure that you account for that 20 marks? Okay, remember that all of this, I always say to my students, the way you are going to recall information in an exam or remember the content which you have studied, that's how you have summarized and make your notes. If we have time, we can talk about that, but unfortunately, it's not part of my brief for today. But basically, what we ask you to do, you need to read the question at least more than once, okay? Sometimes you say 2 times, but it should be more than once. And maybe for the first time, you read just the question, and maybe for the second time, you read with understanding, and also be able to underline or identify the important parts of the question. Because what I've seen with my students most of the time, if a question has 2 parts, okay, students, they focus only on the first part. They leave the last part. And by the time you leave the last part of the question, you may find that it's what is being required in that question. Even in accounting, I've seen most of the students. Sometimes the questions in accounting are very long, you know, in such a way that students, sometimes they feel that they don't have time to read the questions. But at the end, towards the end or the second part of the question, sometimes the third part of the question, it's where you need to focus more, okay? But you need to read all the 3 parts of a question. You need to look at these components, okay? What's important, the action verb. What is expected from you in that question? Not what you know. You know, it's like that. In the exam, because I've studied this, I'm able to remember this, then I just put it in a certain question. And knowing that what I'm writing there in that question is wrong. Why? Because the action verb, the requirement, I'm not even able to respond to it. So I put or write what I know. But you must write what is expected from you. That's why we say sometimes our students, they always like to give examples. I don't know why. And let me tell you, colleagues, once you start to give an example in a question and you have not been asked to give an example, you are not going to answer that question. You end up saying, for example, an example. You see? Why? Because you didn't understand the verb. If you say discuss, you must understand what is expected from you in the phrase of, or key phrase of discussing, okay? Then if they say discuss and give an example, in other words, to start by discussing and give only one example, it's an example. If they say give 2 examples, then give 2 examples. So those are the things which we find our students making mistake around that, okay? But what we need to look when you analyze an essay type question, these are the 3 things, okay? We always emphasize this. You look at the first one. You look at the content. You also look at the context, especially some of the modules, okay? For example, history and geography and all of those modules, okay? You also look at the marks allocation. It's one thing with students they don't look at when they answer a question, the marks allocation. The content is what you are expected to respond to, okay? For example, I always use this example. If they ask you to discuss the causes of unemployment in South Africa, in other words, your focus is more on the causes of unemployment, Okay, that's your focus. That's the content. Then they also go further. The context in that example, it's South Africa. So you are not going to talk about cost of employment in Europe or maybe in Nigeria or in Zimbabwe and so on. You tell us focusing on South Africa, okay? Then the marks allocation. Let's say it's 20 marks. How do you break down these 20 marks? You look at the content. If, for example, you are going to talk maybe about 5 aspects, okay? Then in other words, what you're going to do, you're going to mention the first aspect and try to describe that aspect. Then if there are 5, maybe we can say maybe for one aspect, you allocate 2 marks. So you need also to try to work out those aspects, because what's happening with our students is that they don't look at the marks allocation. The same thing with when you write an essay, it's almost the same. You ask a question for 4 marks, you get 1 page full, only 4 marks. But you ask the same question in an exam, you get 1 line. So I'm not saying, guys, you are doing that, but the experience, those are the things I've noticed with my students most of the time. So you must also look at the marks allocation. So when you analyze a question, in an essay type question, those are the 3 important points, especially the content and also the marks allocation. How to answer an essay type question? All right, there are various ways, colleagues. We answer questions in a different ways, okay? We always emphasize that you must read the question at least more than once, okay? And also make the important points or the phrases which come from the question itself, okay? You can also try a mind map for yourself, okay? And that mind map definitely is the one which you are going to import from your notes. You already have this mind map. So now you go to an exam. You have memorized and internalized this mind map. So when you answer, already you know what you are going to give, for example, under introduction. What are you going to give as the main ideas, and also maybe providing some supporting points, and how are you going to conclude? So that main mind map or outline could assist you a lot, so that you are able not to repeat yourself. If you have an outline on a mind map, you are not going to repeat yourself when you're answering an essay type question. And the other important points, you are going to give specific facts and relevant examples as per question. So you don't bring examples which are not relevant, okay? You always make sure that your examples are relevant to the question itself. And also, when you have a good mind map and outline, you'll have enough time to proofread your questions. In other words, after you have answered all the questions, you will be able to read and see if you have expanded as required, or if you have given the correct answer to the question itself. So all those things, colleagues, we need to prepare them, especially when we are doing our revision. So it becomes easy when you are going to sit for an exam. Well, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this instruction words, but basically, honestly, we need to understand their meaning. There are lots of them. If they say name, it means you are not going to discuss anything, or indicate, you are not going to discuss anything. But if they say discuss, it means you need to evaluate according to certain criteria or point of view. You can also debate your point of view, okay? You can also maybe indicate the strength and also the weaknesses. So in other words, when you discuss, you are able to elaborate more. When they say explain, it means you need to provide simple terms using your own words. And it's one thing with our students, they are afraid to use their own words. We encourage you guys to use your own words in most of the answers. But remember that even though we say you use your own words, most of the content, it needs to come from your study material. Then you can expand using your own words. Because when you use your own words, it shows more understanding. But we are not saying that you must use general knowledge, please. Because once we start not also including the concept or the content from your study material, you can end up using general knowledge, and you are not going to get any points around that. If they say justify, you give a reason and also validate, okay? Well, there are lots of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say, understand these verbs, okay? Well, there are a few pointers which I'm going to touch on. There are a bit more, but I'm going to pick few of them. Well, I always say to my students, when you prepare for an exam, when you are doing a preparation for the exam, you need to have the exam format in mind. It's very important. You must know what questions they are going to ask you. Sometimes in other modules, they may say, from these 3 questions, answer any one of them. So you must prepare for that, okay? Because once you start to answer all of them, let's assume they say out of these 3 questions, answer only one. You decide to answer all of them, 3 of them. And all to find that the last one, the third one, is the one which you have answered it most better than the other 2. You know what you normally do when you mark? We focus only on the first one. We are not going to look at all the other 2. We just focus on the first one. If the first one is poorly answered, but the last one is well answered, you are not going to get any marks, because the instruction was clear that you must answer any one out of the 3. So you must also look at some of those small aspects. The other aspect which I want just to focus on, when you prepare for your exam, is very important. The exam is going to be different. There are a lot of things you need to understand. One of them is how to use technology, the one which you use for invigilation. I always say to my students, maybe 3 days before you take an exam, go through all that videos so that you understand everything, what you're supposed to do in the process of invigilation, okay? Because it's an online, it's a tool which you are going to use. So, but if you leave it for the last minute, you are going to panic, because already you may find the content is difficult. You are not able to absorb or internalize the content. At the same time, there's a tool. When you get to the exam, you find that you do a lot of mistakes. So make sure that you know what's expected in those areas. Okay, I think the other colleagues are going to talk about that more. But you must review the material frequently. Revision is not a once-off process, it is a continuous process. Think and make notes or concept maps. I've spoken about that one. You must be able to compare a construct and think about what you agree or disagree with and why, especially if you are given an opportunity to discuss or to describe. That's where you also need to bring some of those aspects. But remember, at the same time, you can't bring everything in a question. The marks allocation also are going to dictate. But in some of the questions, definitely, they will give you the breakdown, okay? To say maybe in the introduction, these are the marks, the main part of your essay, and also the conclusion, these are the marks. So it becomes easier. But in some of the modules, they don't give you the marks allocation. You have to make it for yourself, okay? Well, time management quickly. During exam is very important. Like I was just saying, in some of the modules, for example, I know about accounting, those who are doing accounting, auditing, and so on. Always in the question paper, most of the time, I'm not saying it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, don't blame Dr. Kupeka. But what I know that most of the time, they give you the breakdown of the marks per question. So when you are revising, you also practice that and put that into place, so that you don't struggle in the exam. But if you don't give the breakdown of the time allocated per question, you have to do it on your own during the exam time. All right. You also need to, if the exam is mixed format, well, it depends. I'll start with the multiple choice. All right. Why I start with that? Sometimes when you start with let's say there's an essay questions there. When you start to answer the question, when you struggle, you end up being demotivated. Sometimes when you start with the simple questions, it motivates you, you know? You feel that now you are answering the question you're in an exam. But if you start with something which is difficult, even those questions which are easy, you end up not being able to answer them. So it also depends. Okay, other students definitely will say, I'll start with the essay type questions and the difficult questions. Okay, but think about that, colleagues. If, for example, you are doing a module and they start in that module, they start talk about theories, and you are just the first year, how are you going to internalize that? But if they start by making some simple aspect like defining the concept, understanding the concept, and so on, then they move to the abstract part of learning. It's easy for you to scaffold that learning. The same thing, my argument in regards to the exam, but it also depends on the individual, okay? We don't prescribe. If you can choose which questions to answer, you need to choose quickly. Please, if you are given an option to say, out of these 3 questions, choose only one or answer one, do it that quickly. And please don't change your mind. Because once you start to change your mind, you end up making mistakes. If you say, out of these 3, I'm taking the 3rd question, I'm going to answer that question, then develop a quick mind map or outline for it, then you go for that question. Okay, I've spoken about this one. Generally, write in sentences and paragraphs, but also in point form. That's what we want from you guys. But it also depends, especially the essay type questions. But let's quickly look at the next point. I think that was my last point, and I'm hoping that I didn't take much of your time, colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kubeka. That was a very informative and practical session. I'm sure all of us students are working away with a few tools we can apply right away. To everyone listening, if you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to share them on the chat or keep them, like note them down, and then you can ask them later in a Q&A session. Let's take a moment. Let's reflect on what Dr. Kubeka has said to us as we prepare for our next speaker. Following speaker is going to be Ms. Paula Refile. She's going to be talking to us about Turnitin, plagiarism, and the effective use of ChatGTP. Ms. Paula, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. I am trying to share the screen. Please indicate, I think, let me just minimize it. Stop sharing. This one, okay. I think I'm Madam Chair, I'm wondering as to whether I'll be able to finish in time, but I'll try my best. Good morning. It's always nice to be where the UNISAs are. I'm going to talk about how to avoid plagiarism and uphold UNISA's academic integrity. I'm going to try and cover UNISA stance regarding generative AI, importance of academic integrity in the era of AI, the challenges that comes with these wonderful tools, and understanding plagiarism and Turnitin and its features. Importantly, our colleagues, we need to understand the position that UNISA has taken in regard to generative AI. AI should be taken as a supplementary tool, not a thing that will do things for you. It shouldn't replace learning. It shouldn't do things for you, write an essay for you. In that case, you won't be learning. And whatever the things that Dr. Was telling you about needs you to take time to read, to understand, so that you will have words to actually write that essay. Proper attribution of AI-generated information content. That means when you use ChatGPT or when you use Copilot, whatever tool that you're using, you should be transparent and say, I've used it in this way. I'll show you in the next slide. Awareness of its limitation and biasness. You must be also aware that because it's a machine, it will make faults. And if you do not know your content, not reading the prescribed material that they've given you, not making sure that you try and find more material that will actually give you more background about the field that of study that you are in, you won't be able to see those biases and those limitations. And so let's understand one thing, and I'm going to read through this slide. The University of South Africa does not endorse or recognize AI tools as authors or co-authors. Therefore, any text generated by AI tools is not considered authentic or credible for academic purposes. Even though UNISA provides access to rightful, which I'm going to demonstrate to you right now, if I get the chance, features that generate AI text, such text should not be used for academic work. UNISA underscores the importance of transparency in the use of these tools and strongly encourage students to disclose their use. Again, by acknowledgement, one would say, I would like to acknowledge the assistance of, for example, ChatGPT in the preparation of this presentation. In my case, this is what I've done. The tool provided valuable support in organizing and refining the content. That's how you acknowledge these tools. We're talking about these things because in my understanding is that when you're writing examination, they come in different forms, and one could be portfolio of evidence and probably the essay types. And you'll see that also if you've got a very sharp memory of remembering things that you have read, writing as they appear, sometimes it might not be a good thing. And remember also the words of Dr. Wu, when he said, we also want to hear your voice. Read for understanding. Let me actually go back. Importantly, remember this phrase, UNISA, zero tolerance for academic misconduct. And how do you follow, make sure that you do not fall in the trap of misconduct? You then understand all the policies that will go that will kind of drive you to the right path of doing things in an academic way. UNISA is drafting and has drafted the AI policy and AI guidelines. They're not yet at your disposal, but we have done that. And then importantly, what is on the public space is the policy of academic integrity. And also we are preparing a digital information literacy MOOC that will help you if you enroll and register for this MOOC to understand all the things that we are saying here. Importantly, what I've done is that maybe a program director, we can just put, I don't know, maybe the PowerPoint for the students access so that they can actually read for themselves these policies and what they stand for, because in the days or in this day of AI, it is important to understand what UNISA is all about and what you should and shouldn't do. And most of the time it is well explained in these policies. So I just put in the links for your understanding. Once again, I'm revealing that academic integrity policy document website is where I found this thing. And I've also used Copilot for personal communication indications. So, and that I have generated this information last year. Importantly, against fellow colleagues, is that we all have a responsibility to make sure that our university is not looked into as its reputation, it's credible. And how does that happen? Individually, in our spaces, we should uphold certain values like honesty and integrity. That is upon us, all of us. And that will then push our institution to also be ranked very highly among other institutions. And we will reduce legal cases and ethical misconduct. And that is for all of us, employees with students as well. For the purpose of this one, remember also that as student, when we talk to you about these things, it's actually for your personal growth. When you do the right things that we're telling you in terms of reading, in terms of making sure that you understand plagiarism or reading and whatever, it's for your own purpose, growth. And I'm saying this because this day, it's easy to actually ace whatever that you are doing with respect to these tools. They can write for you, they can answer everything for you, and you just transcribe. You're not learning in that regard. Imagine how much money you have paid to the university for you to actually shoot yourself on the foot. Thereby, the things that we're telling you now, plus the academic assignments that you are learning, they will give you skill sets that you can take to your work environment, and that can easily make you employable. Because if they ask you about these things, can you use this, can you use that, then you are easy to say, yes, I can, and this is how I've used it in my studies. Again, your reputation also counts a lot. We were having another workshop with law students, and it was actually an eye-opening for me to hear that with law students, sometimes they use these cases to their disadvantage, and sometimes it's just not a good thing. Where what am I saying is that if you commit misconduct at the university, it might tend to work against you in some companies, because they will check your track record. And in checking the track record, they also check plagiarism, for example. They also check academic misconduct, for example. So avoid those consequences that I'm now trying to explain. UNISA AI guidelines covers things like transparency, honesty, accountability. By accountability, we mean that when you use, for example, ChatGPT, whatever that it has given you, read it. And do not use prompts that, for example, are saying, write an essay about load shedding in South Africa for me. You not what can happen is that because these machines hallucinate, it will write and give you wrong information, for example, in terms of resources, or it will just mix information, like, for example, load shedding of Namibia to the one of South Africa. And if you don't know the content, you might actually, but it's not the fault of AI, it's your fault, because you didn't take in cognizance what your lecturer said you must read. For example, in this regard, we might talk about a prescribed material. If you read that prescribed material, and again, if you consult another, maybe 2 or 3 articles, and I'll show you how sometimes you can do that easily. And then you can say, okay, I understand the context and of South African load shedding for me to actually write about it. And I can actually ask questions where I'm not understanding a concept. I can ask ChatGPT for that. And that's a good way of actually using these resources. By transparency, once again, I mean that if you used it and how you used it, you should actually acknowledge and support that with referencing. And then here I was trying to show you that this is what is considered plagiarism. Plagiarism is using someone else's work, ideas, or words without proper attribution. And proper attribution is that element of saying, where you're writing as a statement, for example, here, then I will put maybe Pala 2025, depending on the referencing style that you are using. And cheating, again, in the same exam that we're talking, if you write on a tissue paper, if you cram, then that is cheating. It's using unauthorized materials or assistance during examination or assignments. Fabrication, this is very tricky, and it's also very important. And remember, with plagiarism, you can be intentional and unintentional. You can just say, okay, ChatGPT gave me this source, I'm using it. But if you do not verify it, one might find that that person is not the one that wrote that article. Then it becomes application. They're not going to say it's AI that gave you that information. And then impersonation, having someone else complete examination or assignment on your behalf. Self-plagiarizing, sometimes people students take their past assignment and just reuse them in a different assignment or space. That is wrong. And you find that Turnitin is going to highlight it, for example, 99% of that assignment. And it doesn't matter. Yes, you wrote it, but it was not meant for this assignment or this examination. Unauthorized collaboration, where you're working with people where you're not supposed to work with and buying or selling academic work. Falsifying academic records, altering or forging academic documents or records, paraphrasing without proper citations. Mosaic plagiarism, that is more like your patch writing. You know, sometimes you get a phrase like this one, let's say it's a paragraph, and then you simply just changing, like work, you say job, multiple, you say many, courses, you know, that kind of thing. It's called mosaic plagiarism or patch writing. And then this is basically why I just wanted to demonstrate to you that if you go to the academic integrity policy, this is exactly what you're going to find. And you can see it's almost the same as what I have actually, what I was talking to you about in the previous slide. This is how I told you that if you cram, for example, an essay and you're not using your own voice, your own words, sometimes it can be like this. And immediately, if Turnitin does this, then there's a way that you're going to be called for misconduct, and you have to explain what really happened there. Or if you submit an assignment that you have submitted before, it will do stuff like this. But let's understand what is Turnitin. Turnitin is an inherent, internet-based service used primarily to detect plagiarism in academic writing. It compares submitted documents against a vast database of student work, websites, books, articles, and other sources to identify similarities. Now, what we are now noting is that here it said similarities, and there it says plagiarism. There is a contradiction here, but we are saying similarities because sometimes when you look at Turnitin, the way it highlights things, it might be this is your, for example, acknowledgement or declaration of sort that your department has given to you. So it will copy it like that. That is a similarity. But when you copy somebody's work as it is and put it in as if it's your work, and you don't even say this is a quotation based on the referencing style that you're using, like Harvard, then it's plagiarism. So one has to be very careful what you're doing and how you should support your statements. The key benefits, however, is that it gives you feedback. So you realize that with Turnitin, there's a first submission that is more of a draft. In that draft, you're going to now see, oh, it highlighted all of these things, which means I have to now go back and rewrite. Sometimes it also detects where you didn't write properly in terms of your grammar. And you can just, so it gives you that element of developing your writing skills as well. And then plagiarism detection, I've explained this one. Importantly, also remember that AI, Turnitin has also a AI detection tool feature. So sometimes the lecturers or when you submit your thing, also run it through detection tools to see whether it's going to, because if you use ChatGPT, paste it on your assignment, it will then tell you that maybe 99% it's a machine written thingy text. So make sure that all of these things, you make sure that you understand and you avoid. AI assistant provide AI generated feedback to improve drafts. Once again, you can learn more about Turnitin than taking it as if it's the university, it's the way the university wants to catch you. Let's not look at it as a catching mechanism. Let's look at it as a assistant tool. And I'll tell you that if you look at it that way, you won't go to YouTube and ask, how can I find a AI tool that will help me to undetectable let's say plagiarism or undetectable tools to paraphrase for me. Again, maybe it's there, maybe it's not there. I don't know. The point that I'm trying to make right now is that because these things are machines, they are programmed almost in the similar way. So if you look at the way they write, it's not human, how human can write. So over time, you can see when the machine is wrote, and it's all about the syntax of writing. So be careful about that. Don't just go around and subscribing for these things, because remember, it's also a way of other people's making money. So they will tell you that, yes, it can paraphrase for you and it won't be detected. And unfortunately, if you're caught, then the consequences that I told you about then happens. But importantly is that understand how you can prevent plagiarism. It's through proper citation and referencing. Always when you read your tutorial 101, make sure that you understand which referencing tool, which referencing style your department is using. In this regard, I've indicated that Harvard is broadly used, but I also know that, for example, education, sometimes they use APA, and law or scholar, those kind of things. Just make sure that you read your tutorial 101 very carefully. Paraphrasing and summarizing. Understand the concept of practicing and practice of paraphrasing and summarizing information in your own words. When you read, quite often when you make notes, make sure that you write things the way you understand them, because as you do that, that's how it's going to get into your, it's going to reflect your understanding. And if you don't understand a concept, like I said earlier, there's nothing wrong in going to Copilot or Chat and say, explain this concept for me. That is not wrong. It's a good, actually, way of using these tools. Again, Doctor talked about time management, and it can never be enough for us to emphasize time management and planning. Because also, when you have to submit into Turnitin, you still need a lot of time to, as I said, it has a draft and a few revisions. I think it's 3 revisions for you to perfect your thing, your assignment. Remember also, writing, it's not an easy skill. I mean, I think even professors, they still struggle with writing. It's just that it needs patience, it needs practice. And you know that the first paragraph, most of the time it goes to the bin. It doesn't matter who you are. So practicing and practicing and practicing is very important. And also proper citation. And I talked about research and research and research. But as I said, if I get the time to show you the easier way of doing that, I'll do that. Seeking clarification. Again, librarians are there for me, for you. Your supervisors, your guidance in UNISA, you've got basically all the support that you need. So you don't have any excuse for that. Here, I was just trying to explain to you that paraphrasing is a process of restating information from a source using your own words while maintaining the original meaning. And on top of that, for example, in my case, I asked Copilot to actually tell me what, I said, what is paraphrasing? And this is what I got. And that's why I put it in inverted commas, open and close, and I indicated that I found it. I found it on Copilot. The 8 tips is that understand the original text. I think I said that multiple times. Use synonyms, but not in a way of trying to patch right. Use synonyms just for understanding, just to give it your a different flavor. You know, change the sentence structure. Sometimes, you know, if the sentence is like this, you can start it from the end and finish finish from at the yeah, like to start here and finish there. Yeah, and this one comes there, you know, something like that. Avoid copying unique phrases. Use your simple English and simple words, and be very short in when you're writing, like short sentences, and you know, and every time just try to, for example, give an example of what you understand about that. Cite the source. This is very important once again, and I'll show you in a Word document that you don't have an excuse of saying I didn't know how to search the library. My librarian didn't come back to me when I asked to search for me. And practice regularly once again. Let's see. Okay, let's quickly say, Madam Chair, am I still on time?
You have 3 minutes remaining.
Okay, let me see if I can quickly, because what I wanted to do is that I was going to show you Rightful, but we have the links in the the presentation. You can just simply play around it. And then I was going to show you Copilot, not necessarily, and then Kinwas in the Word document. Let me see if I can actually pull this here. And for example, here, what I've done is I have actually asked Copilot. I said to it, I'm supposed to write an essay on load shedding in South Africa for a university student. Please draft an outline. You see, this is not wrong, because now it tells me what I should focus on. And after that, I went to, because Copilot, unlike ChatGPT, sometimes it suggests, not sometimes, it always suggests where it found the information. And this is critical, because when I clicked here, it then opened the Wikipedia page that actually when I read, I could get the credibility and the essence that it knows what it's talking about. But what was also important is that when I go here, hence I said, there is no excuse of saying I can never, I went to the library, the librarian, this and that. So when I clicked on this page, let me just click and see. When I clicked on it, and importantly, look at them, not this one. You don't want to do the click because, okay, let's try again. When I go to Wikipedia, then you notice there was a lib key here. I've also left a link to lib key, which means that it will always make sure that the resources that you're using are actually credible. They come from the library. And if they don't come from the library and they are suspicious, you don't click them, because sometimes it's scams and all these kind of things that are happening today. But again, what I did is also, I wanted to show you that you can also look into the references that are used here. For example, there was one that I thought I was going to show you, which is, yeah, these ones, which is actually the PDFs that one can check. I didn't want okay, something like this. You can go to this one. Remember, LibKey Nomad. It's something that when you click on it, it will take you to the university library website, and you can easily now get this and read. Remember, you remember what I said? I said there is a prescribed material, and then you can also get other material that you can use to read for a certain topic. So this is some other way of doing it. And then without wasting time, let me see if I can drag I can drag a Word document just to indicate to you what, and so you can just read this. And there's ways where you can read this in a simpler way. For example, I've given you also a link to SciSpace. You can either listen to, like a podcast, it will read for you. You can copy these things and put it in Word and it will read for you. So you don't have an excuse of not reading during this era of AI. I wanted to bring a Word document quickly and see if I can show you the things that I'm talking about regarding, and let me close this one and try and move this one here. And then look at the things that are here on my Word document. You see there's a open rightful. If I click there, it will actually correct this document for me. It's either the thing that I was saying about you shouldn't use is this one, generating a title and abstract. You don't use these ones, but the others, check the paragraph, ask questions and whatever. You know, the things that you won't be ashamed, and that's where integrity comes from. If you highlight something and say, oh, just the paragraph, this paragraph, it will it will correct it, the grammar of it and all the things that you can also use this editor. But we bought this as a license, campus-wide license. So all the UNISA students have access to this one. The other thing that I wanted to show you was Kinwas. With Kinwas, that's where I said, you don't have an excuse of not reading. Because if I have a document like this here, and I say, explore this text and give me references, you'll notice that it will give me the references here. So I can read and support the the prescribed material. You see, enhancing examination preparation. So this is a better way of searching, unlike when we as librarians say keywords. Sometimes with keywords, you need to be on a high level to understand and play around with it. But my point is, the library is still there, but you cannot say I didn't know, I didn't do this in a case where there is misconduct, particularly about plagiarism or cheating. These tools are here to support you. I think I'm over my time, and I hope that I was not too fast for our students to understand. But once again, I am Refilwe. I'm in the library, and I am so I will be so excited to hear from our students whatever that they need to ask and what they need, the tools how they can use these tools. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pala, for the wonderful presentation. It was very informative. We'll make sure that our students receive the policy links, and then I hope that they understood all that you were speaking of with generative AI and so on. With respect to time, we're going to move on to the next presenter. Please, if you do have questions for Ms. Pala, post them on the chat or wait for our Q&A session that's going to come on later on. Our next speaker for the day is going to be speaking on proctoring tools. Mr. Molokwane, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Program Director. Good morning, students. Good morning, colleagues, UNISA colleagues. As you have indicated, I will be actually taking through students through the type of proctoring tools that we use. I'm just going to share the content of my presentation. I hope I'm audible enough, Chair.
You are audible.
Okay, fine. The UNISA University has adopted, I know some of you are repeating students. You know by now that UNISA is actually very careful with their qualifications, and they also want to maintain integrity of their qualifications. So with the advent of moving to online platforms, we have to actually go out and actually search tools that can be applied to our summative assessment when students are writing exams. They are replacing what we call a physical person that would normally invigilate you at the venue. But now we are using it in an online platform. You've got an invigilator, but it's an online invigilator. There are 3 tools that we apply, namely the Invigilator app, Iris, and Model Proctoring tool. Before I proceed, we do exempt students from proctoring tools. Why do we exempt them? Some students are in confined surroundings, like your prisons or correctional facilities. Those students are not proctored, but they are physically invigilated by our wardens in the correctional facility. We also have those who've got special. We classify them as special needs students who don't have the necessary devices to assist them with the proctoring tools. So we normally encourage them to actually send an email to this email that is actually projecting now, exemptdisabled@unisa.ac.za. If you fall within that category of students who are actually are special needs students, and you've got supporting documents that accompany your application from the doctor, we are able to assist you you just have to forward that information through. It is critical, colleagues, students, that you do that, because when we have started with exams, we are inundated with requests, students saying that I did indicate at the point of registration. Yes, you can indicate at point of registration that you've got some form of disability, but please, for an exam purpose, you need to actually provide us with an application supporting the disability that you have stated on your application, on the registration form. These are the proctoring tools that I informed you about. We've got a module, which is the first one that appears here with an orange icon with an M. It is embedded in your learner management system, which is Moodle. So meaning that it is only applied to your MCQs or your quizzes. Please note that it's only for quizzes that are for students who are registered for College of Economics, College of Education, College of Accounting Science, College of Economic and Management Science, and College of Human Science, not College of Science, Engineering and Training. Why is excluded? Because of accreditation. The College of Science and Engineering and Training have got their own proctoring tool, which is IRIS, which is the second proctoring tool. This IRIS, students are supposed to install it on their laptops. You cannot install IRIS on a cell phone. It only works on a laptop or a desktop. I will elucidate more on this when I go through each and every proctoring tool. The most famous of them all is the Invigilator app, which most of you students are using for your take-home or your file uploads. This one is very simple. It is used on your cell phone, smartphone, and you have to actually download it as well so that you can be able to register. So before you register, we actually create licenses for you. So let's start with the module proctoring one. As I've indicated, it's all for your quizzes or MCQs. You need to ensure that before you start the exam, there's a new tool that we have introduced now that when you receive your timetable by itself will indicate what type of proctoring tool will be used for your module. So you need to find out whether it's Moodle, whether it's Invigilator app, whether it's IRIS. So we have simplified this process. Before, we used to actually say you must ask and go to the system and the system will tell you. But since the January-February exam period, we were able to actually ensure that this information appear on your timetable. Once you start as a student and your module is being it's a quiz, and you fall within those colleges that I've mentioned prior, you will use the Moodle proctoring tool. So when you enter into the assessment site, it will indicate that please enable your camera. You need to ensure that your camera is working. And the good thing about the Moodle proctoring tool is that it works on both devices, your cell phone as well as your laptop or your laptop or your, but not desktop, because desktop, most of the desktop, they don't have a camera. They are not camera enabled. So once you just say, I agree, you need to agree so that when you write this assessment, you'll be able to write it successfully. Because if you don't agree, you won't be allowed to proceed. You will only be allowed to proceed if you agree to share your camera so that this module proctoring can work. So what it does, it takes random photos of you whilst you are writing an exam. Trust me, students, we have seen a lot with this module proctoring. We have seen people, 10 or 5 students, using one person to write on their behalf. Please, please, students, note that we are monitoring that. We can see that. This is not the student. This is another person that is writing on behalf of the students. Please make sure that you are honest. Otherwise, your marks will be withheld and you'll be subject to disciplinary procedures. We have created a mock exam site for how to use the module proctoring. Before you write your exam, just go to the module site, to the mock site, and practice, and practice, and practice. We have challenges with students, as the first speaker indicated, that students are ill prepared for an exam, which is surprising. You know that you have registered, you know that you are supposed to write an exam, but why do you come at the last minute or on the day of the exam and say you didn't know what is happening? I'm speaking about students who come even to our offices to say, I'm not aware that I'm writing. So students, please prepare yourself thoroughly. Because if you don't use these proctoring tools, your results will be withheld unless you are exempted. If you experience any technical issues, we are available as student assessment. We've got the help desk. We also have our call center who are on standby on the day of the exams. They support you. We also have our academics and all other stakeholders within UNISA on the day that you're writing your exams. And we've got a live chat. We are able to chat with you and assist you where there are challenges. The Invigilator app, which is the one that I said is mostly used by all the students except the College of Science, Engineering and Training. The Invigilator app is, the icon is like an owl, meaning that we are being watched while you're writing an exam. What it does once you have installed it on your phone, it instructs you to take selfies, a photo of yourself, and there is what we call random microphone checks. What I mean by random microphone checks, it records any speech that is detected while you're writing an exam. Please note that it does not, it does detect all speech, but we have people who review whether that speech is related to the content of the subject matter or not, or it's just background noises. We don't flag you, it will flag you, but however, we've got people who actually review those flagging to find out whether indeed that flagging was supposed to happen or not. It will prompt you to take a photo of your answer sheet, upload your answer script at the end of the session. However, very important to note that the primary platform for uploading of your script in My Exams platform. The Invigilator app, once you have set the QR code, once you have scanned the QR code, it allows you to scan the QR code 15 minutes before an exam and 30 minutes after exam has started. Then it will invigilate you for that duration of the assessment. 10 minutes before the end of an exam, it will require you to upload your files, which are your selfies, photo of ID, and photo of your answer sheet. Do not panic if at the end it is unable to upload your answer script. Go to your My Exam and upload your answer script. Because this one, we just use it as a backup. This is not the official uploading of a platform for exam script. The official uploading for exam script is My Exams. Whatever you uploaded on My Exam will be considered. If you upload an incorrect document on My Exam and a correct one on the Invigilator app, please be informed that the one on the Invigilator app will not be considered because the system has recognized that you have uploaded a document on My Exams. We will only import that one on the Invigilator app to our platforms for marking if there's no upload on My Exams. As I've indicated, the lecturers will actually share with you the QR code. You as a student, you need to register on the app itself. On the day that the exam is scheduled, you scan the QR code. What we have found that student, instead of scanning the QR code, they go to My Exams platform, download the paper, go through the paper very quickly. Thereafter, they then remind, they just think, oh, I forgot to scan the QR code. Then they will actually call us to say, I tried to scan the QR code. I get an error message that this exam has started. There's an error in starting this exam. If you are late in scanning the QR code, within that 45 minutes, unfortunately, your marks won't be released because we are unable to scan the QR code. Please note, we are able to see, we've got audit trials wherein we can see when did you start scanning the QR code. So we do have reports of that. Please, students, do not close the app for any reason whatsoever. Do not answer WhatsApp messages, SMS, or calls. If you want to prevent this from happening, once you have scanned the QR code, turn your phone to flight mode. But remember, towards the end, when you're supposed to finalize or finish, because on the cell phone itself, it will show you the duration, and it will indicate there's a timer that is actually reflected to show you how many minutes you are left with. So if you see that towards the end, and remember that you have placed your phone on a flight mode because you don't want to be flagged for being out of app, you must then, towards the end, for your results to be uploaded, turn off the flight mode and upload your results so that you have access to Wi-Fi as well as your internet. As I've indicated, I think I'm not going to go through all this. Once while uploading your script to the exam, you can temporarily minimize the app. It's fine. That 10 minutes won't be counted as being out of app. As student, you must finalize your uploading within 48 hours. Some people may ask, is this a new submission or not? No, it won't be a new submission. Whatever that you are doing during the session on the scheduled date, it gets saved onto cloud. So if accidentally you forgot to upload on the scheduled day of exams, you will receive a notification to say finalize your upload. It is not a new upload, it is what has been saved on cloud. So we are granting you 2 days because we know that it can happen that you forgot to do it. It can happen that you didn't turn on back to you didn't turn off your flight mode. So please remember, because at the end, when you are finished with all your uploads, you do get a message to say that you have successfully submitted your data, your invigilation data. It is not submission of your answer script. Let us not misinterpret it. A submission of your data, your invigilation results, not the result of your paper, your answer script. Students will be flagged for out of app each time they minimize or switch to WhatsApp, emails, messages during the exams. Please do not listen to music while writing in exams. Some students like to listen to music. Why are you listening to music in an exam period? Others will tell you that I want to focus. Will you focus if you are in an exam hall? We didn't even allow you to turn on your radio. We will say there must be complete silence in an exam hall. I know some of you write in areas where there's noise. It's fine, it's not a problem. But do not play music in the background while you're writing an exam. This is the one that I referred to you, which is IRIS, which is a software program that provides UNISA with assurance of assessment. IRIS works on a laptop or a desktop that has got a camera. What it does, it records your audio, your video, and your computer screen for the duration of the test or exams. When it is active, it will be recording a video of you, as well as sound. So as I've indicated, you need to install IRIS. I will share this notes with you, but only, please note, only if you are a student for the College of Science, Engineering and Training, only. And also, if one of your modules, because we have seen that some of the students in their qualification, they will opt to do computer modules. You must remember that you need to have a laptop so that IRIS can successfully record you. It doesn't work on the phone, it only works on laptop. The requirements is that you must have a Windows operating system, Windows 8, These are the recommended specifications. We do share with you the specification even when you install it on your laptop or your desktop. There are specifications that are shared with you. If you're experiencing challenges, we do have experts. We've got in the regions, we've got your DLIs, digital learning instructors. We also have our contact center. They can help you. But do this prior to an exam. Don't do it on the day of the exam. The challenges that we have is that it's student unreadiness to take an exam. You need connectivity at the start. It can also work offline and also towards the end of the session. Make sure that it can access your webcam and microphone. So normally you can check it on that link that is showing here. I'm not going to open this link for the sake of time, but there are specific instructions that you have to follow when you are actually writing an IRIS assessment module. You use your MyUNISA username and password. Once you have installed IRIS, you don't have to reinstall it all the time. You only reinstall it, you only install it once and it stays there. On the day of the exam, when you open the site to write an exam, you will have to go through the functionalities to check if your webcam is working well, your sound is well, and you are able to share. That's all. You don't need to go and download it again. So I normally advise students that once you have installed it, just leave it. My IRIS is 5 years installed. Each time I go to my profile, it just automatically turns itself on. So once you have done it, it's done once. I know that sometimes you share laptops, sometimes you borrow people's laptops. Please make sure that even if you borrow a laptop, it must be a work laptop, as some students are using work laptops. If you are using a work laptop, there are certain functionalities or permissions that are not allowed for security of the company that you are working for. So you need to inform them. If you're going to use their work laptop, to say that I'll be writing my exams, but I'll be using IRIS, it will require permission. How do I go about it so that I don't get problems when I write my exam? Some of them will allow, some of them not. The banks, I know, they don't allow, due to the sensitive nature of the information that they keep. During the uploads of what you have done during an assessment, on the IRIS, it will show you that you have uploaded your recordings. You will get a green light to say that your recordings are uploaded successfully. And you can check with the new version, you can pause and resume your uploads at any time without losing any data or compromising the integrity of your exam. So you need to review and verify your uploaded files and make sure they match the requirements and expectations of the university. So it is important that you actually do it, because you will also get an email notification to say your results have been uploaded successfully. The good thing about IRIS is that you don't upload your script. You only use my exams to upload the script. You cannot upload a script on IRIS. It is just an invigilation tool. Very important. We have queries from students that saying that there's load shedding, limited space on your personal computer, crash computer, non-functioning camera, work cameras, work computers. I've just touched on it. If you experience these challenges, colleagues, and you experience them prior to an exam, come to UNISA, visit your nearest regional office so that they can check it. Don't come on the day of the exam, so that you don't experience this kind of challenges. We are saying that as a postgraduate student, students who are postgraduates and are writing a module for the very same time, once they experience all the above that is written from A to F, they should apply for an ECROTET with supporting evidence. within 10 days of the exam session. But if you are an undergrad student, the UNISA will grant you a second opportunity. That is also applicable to the other proctoring tools, to say that if you failed for that sitting, and as an undergrad student, you will be provided with a second opportunity to write that module if it was your first time writing that module. We don't grant any third attempt for students. It's only the first and the second. But remember, if you are a postgrad student, you are only allowed one attempt, and then you are asked to apply for an ECRO-TET if it's your first time. But if it was your second time, you will be asked to re-register for that module. I hope you can see this. These are your result codes that are applicable to the proctoring tool. You receive a code 94 where it says deferred proctoring non-compliance. And it's specific, and it does actually explain what does it mean. It says you receive a deferred proctoring non-compliance when a student has been identified to have been out of the Invigilator app for a cumulative period of 10 minutes, or when you didn't utilize the prescribed proctoring tool. The outcome also applies when the camera malfunctions, or when the student was off camera, resulting in no proctoring tool recording or an assessment of the proctoring recordings. As I've explained, you will be provided with a second opportunity if you're an undergrad student. And for postgrad, you will be requested to apply. If you are aggrieved by the university decision, we've got an appeal form that you will fill. And on the appeal form, you will detail your student number, your module, and what was the issue. You provide us with sufficient detail so that when you do an investigation, using that information, we can be able to determine whether it was a technical issue on your part or a system issue on our part. We investigate each and every case, and we take each and every case based on its own merits. There's also code 95 where it says cancelled. Here, it means we have to re-register, unfortunately. Most of you will be writing this, the supplementary in May, June. It will be your second opportunity. So if you don't use any of our proctoring tools, you will receive a cancelled proctoring. But those that will be writing for the first time and registered during the January-February exam, 2025, will receive a second opportunity. And they will get a code of 94, which is deferred. Yours, it will be cancelled if you are a supplementary student. How to contact us, our help desk, which is our student assessment help desk. These are the numbers 011-471-2433. Technical help desk, which is the WhatsApp number for the Invigilator app, is 073-505-8273. That one is on top, colleagues. If you experience a problem with the Invigilator app, you just send a WhatsApp, they will help you, and they respond like this. If we also have our proctoring inbox, which is proctoringinquiries@unisa.ac.za. I think, Program Director, that is the end of my presentation. I will follow the chat, and I will wait for the question session so that I can respond to concerns that are raised by students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malokane. That was an informative session. We know now which proctoring tool to use with respect to whatever field we study. Without further ado, as he stated that he will be answering questions on this chat and also be waiting for the Q&A session, please post them on the chat or wait for that session. Our next speaker is going to be Ms. Mary Molosane. She's going to be speaking on exam matters. Ms. Molosane, if you're available, the floor is yours. Miss Mary, are you around? Apologies, it seems Miss Mary is not yet currently available.
Sorry,
Of
Program
course-
Director. Sorry.
Yes.
There's a lady called Machudi Chikakisa. She has raised her hand. Maybe if you can allow her. I think she'll be doing the presentation. Thank you.
Oh. Okay, I do see a presentation. Yes.
Morning, morning. Sorry, I wanted to say Mr. Mdiha is trying to communicate to say he's the one who's doing the presentation. I see he's on the floor now. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mdiha. Mr.
Thank you so
Mdiha, the
much.
floor is yours.
Thank you so very much, Program Director. Am I audible? Can you see my slides that are flighted?
Yes, you are audible and the presentation is visible. Can you please put it on presenter mode?
And it seems as if I'm struggling, but I'll keep on trying. A very good morning to all the organizers of this wonderful platform for us to talk to our wonderful students. My fellow presenters, a very good morning to all of you. My name is Resta Mudira. I'll be presenting to you the support that we'll be giving you during the examination, as we've already engaged earlier with the orientation and induction, and I think this is just a continuation. Right. I think and believe that you are ready for the examination as we are only having few days to go. Can I see by show of thumbs if you are ready? Colleagues, we're talking to you about the assessments, which is formative assessment, which will be depth by Mashudu. Also be engaging what summative assessment is, which talks to the take homes, the MCQs we do offer. On the 2nd of May, we'll be running the final admission program, where we'll be, as per the 2-1-1, that in submission of assignment 1, you'll be allowed to write the examination. We'll surely be running that program on the 2nd of May, and you should be having your timetables before the following day. And what is important is that when a student registered with UNISA, the student acknowledges an awareness of the prevalent rules of the university and undertakes to bound and abide by the rules. Already indicated a lot of things, that the do's and the don'ts, and we hope and believe that that said found a place in your heart and you should be able to adhere, because failure which there are repercussions. We will also be supporting you with Student Communication Service Center, SCSC. The contact number is there, 080-000-1870 for technical difficulties when uploading exams. And Mr. Mulukwane have also shared part of that. And your step-to-step guide for successful online examination is there on the web. Please take time and go and check it and be able to see what you need to know. It's important for you to do that. The timetable examination platform will exams, the certificate to specific site instances. Remember, if you are in CSET, it will be http colon CSET my exam, the College of Human Science, the College of Sciences, and all. You'll be using this web address to be able to access those. They are randomized MCQs and quiz questions, and short is and no file upload. You'll also be having examination days and session time, opening and closing times will appear examination timetable. As I repeat, which you are going to get after the 2nd of May, when we'll be running the final timetable. Timetable and my modules 2025 platform. Assessment numbers, days and times set as per the assessment plan. You get them on the announcement module page. The proctoring tools, Mr. Mlukwani have actually given you more information just for all examinations except CSET. The Turnitin is a plagiarism detection service which may apply to assessment. This will be indicated. One. Right, as you that we've got a lot of more examination period. We are also saying that as in when you which might be you are eligible sent an application to us, able to give you another date to write examination. Where what we need authentic religious, your past senior, it should be stamped, it should organize another examination for you. And special for extra of April, but close outside an accident before the actual examination, your application for examination, which in extra time.
Apologies, Mr. Moteja. Apologies. Your sound is breaking at times. Can you please check your network connectivity?
That? Am I able now?
Yes, you are, but like throughout your presentation, your sound is coming on and off. So students are missing parts of your presentation.
My very apologies for that. Like I've been saying that should accident within 7 days before your writing date, you are also at liberty. You can actually apply with your medical report, wherein a doctor will indicate how much time extra our DAA support team should. You will then be eligible to write the examination with the required times. The important dates in the examination, you all know, happy we are, that we'll be commencing our examination on the 14th of May, 2025, and you will be starting our staggered release on the 26th of May. What do we mean by staggered release? We mean that modules that should have been written on the 14th of May, by the 26th, we should be getting those results that are finalized and should be able to know if you have passed or made it or not. And then the formal examination will conclude on the 7th of May. And then we are expecting that the results will be released on the 11th of 2025. That's when we'll be closing for the remarks. What do we mean by remarks? We mean if you're not happy with your final mark, particular range, which apply for a remark and for the university to give that to the external examiner for transparency and fairness, and and you should be able to get the results after that. The number of examination opportunities, all the undergraduate modules which are at -1, where supplementary is applicable, you always have 2 opportunities to write. Should it be that this is your first opportunity now in May, June, and you are unable to write, or you have failed, don't you dare worry. As a caring institution, we'll give you another opportunity in October, November. You don't need to apply for SICA examination. You don't need to apply if you're having low issues. You don't need to apply if you're having a death in the family, but it's only for those that are having a. And NB, please note this, we do not grant set opportunities. If this is your second opportunity, you must know that by hook or crook, you must make it a showcase that you go and write. Should you not be able to, please ensure that you re-register that module before the closing date of second semester. Take note that portfolio, continuous assessment, practical assessment, experiential assessment, and research reports are not granted supplementary or an accredited opportunity. In those instances, should you fail, you must just know that there's only one solution, but one solution is to go and re-register. Remarking, like I've indicated, when you are not happy with your final mark, you can either remark your script or purchase your script, get to see where you went wrong, and if you feel strong that there might be one or two that they might not have done justice, please apply for a remarking which will close on the 31st of July, and then you should have obtained something in the margin of 35 to 49 or between 68 and 74. The email address you should use is remark@unisa.ac.za. Students may apply to purchase a copy of their exam script at purchasescript@unisa.ac.za. Important once again, colleagues and wonderful students, is that we are having dedicated email addresses, and what are the benefits of using these addresses is that you'll be responded to as quick as possible by our wonderful team that is very dedicated. For general inquiries, you can send to this unisa.ac.za for purchasing and for remark, and for religious, those that the exams will be scheduled on Saturday, and because of religious obligations, they might not be able to write. Please send your inquiries on this email address for you to be assisted. The disabled students, even those that are involved in temporary accidents where they're having a temporary disablement, then they can actually write to this email address. Proctoring for Mr. Mulokwani, there we go. You can actually send your emails to this. Remember what Mr. Mulokwani have said? That rules, and rules. You are outside the app for so many minutes. You not get your results with a particular code and description that your results have been for none, and you feel the nation from the first second to the last second. Please feel free to appeal into this email address where Mr. Mulukwane's ever-ready team should be able to respond to that. For students that you might not be affected, but remember, as a caring institution, we are also having a final year concession, which is an opportunity for those students that are left with one or two modules to complete, that they are given another opportunity before the next actual exam for them to get a special examination or a portfolio for them to be able to be counted amongst those that will be graduating either in spring or now in April, but I don't think it to you. But stage, you must know that you are going to qualify for this. Let me pause and submit, but before I submit, let me wish you good luck into this next coming examination, and hoping and wishing that you are preparing as hard to ensure that you are all going to pass this examination. A very good luck to me and my team. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Thank you so much, Mr. Madiha. As we still have time, if you have questions, please show by raise of hands, and you can post them to Mr. Madiha and he can be able to assist. And Tebe? Please unmute and pose your question to Mr. Madiha. Deepo?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you're very audible.
Okay. Good morning to everyone. Look, I've tried to download the Invigilator app on my PC. I I don't know. Is it possible to get in the PC? Is it only the iris that I can get in the PC? I'm an engineering student. Can you hear me?
Yes, please do repeat your question.
Yeah, I'm saying I've tried to download the Invigilator app, but I can only get it on my mobile phone. Is it because I need to only download the iris on my PC? Can I get the Invigilator app on the PC as well?
Can I
Mr.
respond?
Model.
Can
Yeah,
I respond?
Mr. Molokane, you can respond to the question.
Thank you. Thank you for raising that question, Sipo. Sipo, the Invigilator app is we are using it on a cell phone. You can only download it on a cell phone. However, we do have a PC version, but we are not using a PC version as an institution. So students can only download it on their mobile phones, smartphones.
Okay.
And the iris is only the one that you can download on, not download, you can install on your laptop or desktop.
Okay. So I can get it on my where I get my Google Shop.
That is correct.
Okay. So about the class of students, the class also tomorrow, will you be covering the same thing, so we don't need to attend, or do you need to attend that one also?
Are you an engineering student?
Yes, I'm an engineering student.
No, we will get more details on that. You need to attend it, please.
I need to attend it tomorrow.
Yes, we are going to share more details on the iris version.
Okay. And you covered about the mock. I don't know if you guys was your colleague before. You said the mock where we can practice for exams. Where do you get the mock?
The mock exam is for your module proctoring. It's not for the iris.
Not for the iris.
Yes. Hence, I'm saying to you that the iris, we've got a special site for you to actually go through. We will share those details tomorrow in that student indaba.
Okay. All right. Now, will the recording for all the discussions be presented, like be made available? Or you're not recording?
I think the program director is recording this session. They will make them available. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That will be all.
Ellie, the floor is yours. You can ask your question.
Good day, everyone. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, so I have two questions. I just want to clarify if the session tomorrow is a compulsory session. Must we go for that one also?
Tomorrow's session, there are going to be different presenters, and they're going to be presenting on different topics. So if you are available, we encourage you to join us then too.
Okay. And then my second question is, must we wait for the exam timetable to be emailed to us on our UNISA accounts? I mean, on our student email.
Hello, can I respond, Program Director?
Yes, please, the floor is yours.
The timetables will be availed to all to my live email address on the 2nd, like I've said. It will run midnight, and then on the early hours of the 3rd, it will be available to all students.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So you can unmute. Lerato, pose your question.
Oh, hello, everyone. So my questions is about the proctoring tools. So where I live, closer to my home, there is a railway. So the train passes by almost every day. So I wanted to ask if it happens that the train passes by during exam, will I not be flagged because of the train noise? Will I not be flagged for plagiarism?
Can I respond to that, Program Director?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Let us be very clear, colleagues, that when you are being proctored, the system itself, because remember, it's an auto-generated flagging done by the system. However, it is not a final outcome of your invigilation. What happens is we still need some manual review for those flagging to determine whether those flaggings are correct or not. So if it's a train passing by, then it's just that noise of a train. That will not constitute an act of misconduct, not at all. It is only when you are found to be discussing the paper with your respective fellow students and you are giving or assisting one another where we can pick up that you guys are discussing, then we will clearly flag you because you are actually dishonest when you are writing your assessment. But only background noises, all these other noises, cows booing or whatever, that will be disregarded. It won't be a flag. Plus, please, let's just separate also the issue of plagiarism. Plagiarism is a separate act altogether. Plagiarism, I think they've taken you through Turnitin. Plagiarism can be that you are copying verbatim or from a textbook, or instead of applying your own knowledge. It will depend how the question is phrased. So let's just differentiate between all these different kind of proctoring tools. What is plagiarism? Let's have an understanding what is plagiarism and what is flagging. So if you can actually help yourself in actually differentiating between the two. Noise cannot be deemed to be plagiarism. Thank you.
Thank you so much for answering our student questions. For the moment, please, let's have our last presenter for the day, Ms. Tulisile Mazibuko, who's going to be presenting on disciplinary matters, and wait to pose your questions for the Q&A session. Ms. Mazibuko, are you available?
Good morning, Program Director. Good morning, colleagues. Yes, I am. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you for that. I'll just share my screen. Go. Okay. Good morning, students. As introduced, I am Otulisile Mazibugo. I am from the Student Disciplinary Office. I will be taking you through the general examples of misconduct, and if you are found to have committed academic misconduct, what will happen and what happens in the hearing in terms of suspension and the awareness that we actually try to put out there, such as this one, to make you aware of all these processes that conducted by the by the university. I'm gonna be very, very, very short because mine is, I think most of my fellow colleagues have explained extensively so as to what it is that is required of you as a student. Now, should you not heed all the advice that was given, if you don't take this, what has been said here seriously, then you are going to find yourself in our office. And let me tell you, that is not a nice place to be. Now, I'm going to start with the examples of academic misconduct, wherein number one, we have harassment. This includes assault, discrimination, threatening behavior, etc. Sexual harassment, if maybe in a way there's a student who is being sexually inappropriate towards you, or even a lecturer. Should you have such evidence, you can report such matters to our office and we'll handle it. Plagiarism, we do note that there's different types of plagiarism, and I do note that they have actually explained to you guys as to what it is, what plagiarism is, and different ways of avoiding it, because I've been listening and I can say that they've done a good job of that. And if you do not take such advices, they will send your script or your recordings or your video recordings to our office, and should it be proven that you are guilty of such misconduct, we will suspend you from the university. Misrepresentation, this entails submitting false information to the university in order to gain entrance. Should we detect that, we will revoke all your modules that you've done, all the results that you've acquired thus far. We don't care whether you have a degree or diploma or master's. Should we find that you unduly benefited, we will revoke such. Examination irregularities. This is wherein if you are found in possession of unauthorized notes. Yes, we know that most of our exams now are online, and you are asking yourself, how is this possible? For instance, Mr. Mulukwane did explain to you what the IRS does as it takes your screen. If it's a closed book and the lecturer sees that you are actually having books there with you while you are writing, or even the invigilator app, as it asks you to take snippets of your scripts, should they find any suspicions that you are actually consulting your prescribed book or any other study materials wherein that is not required. And remember, with each and every exam, there are rules there that they tell you to adhere to. They explain to you that if your assessment, if it's take home, they even give you the count in the words that you must provide. They give you the links if it's research. They state the rules clearly. So if you do not heed or abide by those rules, then you will be sent to our office. Ghostwriters or making use of service providers or ChatGPT. I think they did touch on the AI there a bit. So guys, yeah, please just listen. And let me tell you something about these ghostwriters. You're going to find your Mr. exams. There are many Mr. exams, or even your external tutors. And those other people who write your exams for you, you provide them your login details and whatnot. It's fine. Let me tell you this. They tell all the 1,000, you're not the only one that they tell that this is your own work. Just submit it as is. They tell 1,000 students the same thing. And let me tell you how vindictive they are. If you don't pay them, even if you owe them 100 rands, all the communication that you've been communicating with them, all those screenshots, whether it be on WhatsApp or messages, they will forward those to our office, because you can't simply pay them that 500 rands. They don't care if whether you've paid them 1,800. If you don't give them the money anymore, they will send that information to our office. Should we investigate and find that the information they've sent to our office is credible, we will send you to a hearing. Should you be found guilty, we will suspend you for 5 years, 6 years, even 10 years from the university. Now, before, even if those SMSs that you received, so they tell you that we can help you with a certain module and whatnot, do not entertain them. Before you actually try to entertain them, ask yourself, is it worth it? Because you're going to pay them money, and should you not pay them all the money that they want, or should they ask extra money? They're going to report you to us. So is it worth it? Is it worth losing your money? Is it worth losing the time that you would have completed your degree? Ask yourself that before you actually fall into those temptations, guys. Now, fraud, the unlawful intention of making or misrepresenting. This relates to, we've had over 10 students now we found who use fraudulent matric certificates. Now, what we do, we liaise with the Department of Education to authenticate your matric certificate. Should we found that it is not it's actually fraudulent, we will suspend you from the university. So just think of those things, guys, because it's really not worth losing all of this. So now, what happens in the hearing? Should that service provider or that external lecturer of yours who's teaching you incorrect calculations, who is teaching you incorrect formulas of which they are not in line with the UNISA standard of teaching, we'll send you to a hearing. In a hearing, we have an ad hoc committee. This committee consists of a chairperson and 2 members within the university, the different departments in the university. We send you a notice detailing which modules you are found to have committed academic misconduct. We'll send you the evidence that we have. We'll send you the student disciplinary code. Student disciplinary code will highlight that they say you've contravened rule 1.2. Rule 1.2 is then the student disciplinary code, which relates to you not adhering to the university examination rules and all the other rules of which will be highlighted there as charges. So now, if the student is served with the notice to attend, if you feel like we know as people, we have for those who are introverts, we have those who are extroverts. If you feel like you can represent yourself, given you've gone through the evidence, you've scrutinized everything, if you feel that the evidence is unfounded, that you can defend yourself, and you are confident in that, then you can go and represent yourself. But if you feel that you can't speak, like you're an introvert, you get nervous quickly and whatnot, you can ask for assistance in the with the SRC members. They do come and represent you, or any member within the university, any staff member within the university, they can also assist you in that. Now, should you not be able to attend the hearing, maybe we know we're all people, maybe there's death in the family or you're sick or whichever, you need to submit to our office documents that you actually are requesting for a postponement. You don't request a postponement because you are working. We are all working. You can take that 30 minutes or 1 hour to attend your hearing. We won't be entertaining that. So, suspension. When you attended a hearing and you are found guilty, you can be suspended for a year, 2, even up to 5 years. For fraudulent, it actually goes up to 10 years. So imagine that, being suspended and everything's halted. Remember, and it's not only the suspension in the university, all those big universities that you think you are going to start another, they communicate. You might say, UNISA suspended me, I'm going to UP or UJ. We do communicate to say, you take the student at your own peril, but this is the kind of student that you will be dealing with. Unless you want to go to your VT, FET colleges, then you can go. We will have, this revoking of qualification is given Even if it's a doctorate, guys, if someone comes forth, your Mr. Exams comes forth to say, this is the thesis that I wrote for this student, and student paid me 15,000. I'm actually dealing with a case now wherein a student paid someone else 15,000 to write their thesis for them. We will revoke such qualifications. Now imagine all that time, those years you've spent with the university to try to gain such qualification. We do revoke such. That's how serious our office is. When you are suspended, we don't suspend only those modules wherein you were found transgressing on. No. We suspend you as a student, entirely you, from any activities within the university. We cancel your registration, and still you will be liable for the monies, because now the registration process took place and the admin ran. You were given the study materials. Who is supposed to fund all of that? Because of your, I don't want to say stupid mistake, but because of your oversight, you will still be liable for such. Like I said, a suspension, we suspend you as a student. Now, appeals. Yeah, we give you a chance to appeal. If maybe you find that, no, the suspension is too harsh. Yes, I pleaded guilty. I acknowledge my mistakes. I know what I did wrong, and I promise not to do it again. You can appeal. An appeal is completely different committee. They are there to hear if you are remorseful, what steps are you willing to take to correct your behavior. Now, like the appeal is based on 2 grounds. You can appeal the sanction. You can appeal procedural fairness. Sanction is when maybe you pleaded guilty and they still slapped you with a 2-year or 3-year suspension. You can go to the committee and say, committee, I know that I attended a hearing maybe, and then I pleaded guilty and I acknowledged my mistakes, and I've been communicating with my lecturers. And in fact, now there's this academic misconduct, academic integrity course, wherein it highlights everything there. It teaches you the do's and don'ts. So you need to partake in that so that you know what it is that the university requires of you. Now, procedurally unfairness, you can appeal. Procedurally unfairness, given that maybe we sent you a notice, we sent you the evidence, but we didn't send you the student disciplinary code. That's procedurally unfair, right? You can appeal that. Fine. And if maybe we saved you with a notice in 5 days, we know that we give you 7 days, we serve you with a notice within 7 days, but if you were given the notice within 5 days, that is procedurally unfair. You can appeal that. Now, given is a stance. You come, you appeal, but remember, the appeal committee has the right to increase that suspension. If they feel like, no, the other committee was lenient on you, and you didn't seem to actually rectify your behavior, they can still reduce it from 1 year to 2 to 3 years. But if they feel that you are remorseful and you are willing to repent, then they can reduce your sanction. So now, we don't fabricate evidence. We don't fabricate evidence, and we don't get rid of evidence either. Your lecturers will submit evidence to our office. Okay, and also whistleblowers, your friends that you tell, oh, Chomi, na go Telegram, na ke kerele eng. They can still take that voice recordings and send it via the anonymous line that they submit to our office. So such evidence, we don't fabricate, guys. We are given such evidence to investigate and to protect the university. So now, preventions, this is one of them. We are doing this to prevent such behavior, because it's been rising and you guys are not comprehending the seriousness of this. So such interventions here, we are now. It's one of them that we are actually engaging on to try to sensitize you guys as to the do's and don'ts. Because now UNISA adopted a zero tolerance towards plagiarism, guys. We need academics here. Okay, so just apply yourselves. Now we are still working with the SRC and we are raising awareness in such things, guys. So please just try to take your relationship with UNISA seriously. Thank you. That is for me. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you so much, Ms. Masibuko. That was very informative. If students have any questions, please pose them. The floor is yours. Teresa, do you have a question?
Good afternoon, and yes, ma'am, thank you for recognizing my hand, and thank you so much for the, awesome presentations that we received today. It was valuable, and we have learned a lot. My first question would be going to Ms. Phala regarding the Turnitin. I just wanted to check, what is the acceptable percentage on Turnitin to be accepted? Like, because I saw somewhere said 99% of similarity and so forth. So what is the acceptable percentage? That is my first question. And then the second question will be, let me say it says there are similarities like maybe 30%, but it would be words like the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and so forth. So what do you do in that regard? Because those words must be used in the assignment. And I just wanted also to check how do we download Turnitin? Maybe the where do we go to, and do we download it prior uploading of the assignments, or can we do it even now? And then my last question would be to Mr. Mulokwane. Which app do we use for the College of Law? And do we also install it prior the exam, or can you install it even now? Thank you so much. And okay, my last question would be to the first presenter, Dr. Kubega. Roughly, if you have a question of 25 marks, approximately how many pages like should that assignment be? Because it says just 25 marks. So how many pages more or less? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Teresa. Please just remind me if I didn't cover all the questions that you asked. But first of all, remember I said it's a similarity index more than it is a plagiarism detection tool. What that means is that sometimes, depending on what you're writing, let's say, for example, in law, like you just highlighted, there's a lot of cases that are out there. And if you refer to those cases, you'll find that it flags them. But not only that, it also will flag, your references or your footnotes. Those are now becoming similarity. But what becomes the catch is, did you just copy and paste what you found in the internet, or did you apply yourself in understanding what you have written? And did you now refer, like in terms of in-text citation, did you cite that which you have found as a case on the internet? I don't know if that makes sense. So the issue is not about the similarity. The issue is about, did you make a case that is convincing enough that you understand the matter and you wrote it in your own words as you understand it? And did you also apply the referencing technique that your department have given you? In this case, it's, for example, Harvard referencing technique. With regards to the accessing of Turnitin, it depends on your module. If your module has like portfolios or essays, and yes, you'll see that if you go to your My UNISA, there will be an indication that you do have access to Turnitin. If your module doesn't have such assessments, then no, you won't have access to that. So just check carefully on your my UNISA, but as well, you can take my email address and then maybe contact me. But I also want to think that there will be instruction in your tutorial, in wherever environment that, for example, in my UNISA, where there's announcement to indicate that you need access to Turnitin. But if your assessment will require that, automatically, if you as you register, it's actually connected to your My UNISA. I hope that makes sense, and I hope I've answered all the questions that you have posed.
Yes, ma'am. Just on the percentage of like what is the acceptable percentage
Oh,
for
yes.
submission?
Oh, yes.
And your email address.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat. The percentage doesn't necessarily matter, to be honest. As long as you have applied the rules, as I've said. Remember, as I'm saying, turn it in because it's more of a similarity index. If your module, they told you to write in a certain way, for example, the title is the same, the table of content is more or less the same, the cases that you are referring to are the same, and one other people have used those kind of things, it's going to detect those things. There is a way, however, that you can determine to start kind of filter using the filters within the Turnitin system, but we are still debating whether to remove those things or whatever. But if you can come to somebody, if it's high, maybe you contact me, we can filter and see more or less. If it's 99, for example, we remove all of the things that we know there are similarities, and we also reduce maybe the 1%, because the policy says 1%, it's not necessarily a thing that you should worry about. Then we then will know probably you are up against 15%. The other things were just making, false positive kind of a noise. So I would be cautious to look at it in terms of scores. Those scores doesn't necessarily mean anything, but they caution you to really look into your work and say, have I applied all the rules? Did I write these things myself? Let me remember, what did I copy and paste without paraphrasing, without understanding when I'm writing, and that's why time management is important, because as and when that happens, you might want to consult. I hope that makes sense. Don't focus a lot on the percentage, because some percentage, if you look at them, they are identified by colors, they're color coded. Red usually means that, yeah, there's something fishy here. But if it's blue and greens, it's just those things that could easily become similarity index. But again, for you to understand, it's that in that time when you're doing your assignment and all, consult, and then let's talk through it, because the cases differ. I hope that helps, Teresa.
Thank you so much. Yes, it helped a lot. So you're saying you'll send your email via?
I'll post it on the chat. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Lafina, you may pose your question.
Sorry, ma'am, I still have one question that was not answered from Mr. Mulukwane regarding the app for the College of Law.
My apologies.
Yes.
Mr. Mulukwane?
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, it will depend which module are you writing, but all College of Law, for their file upload, take-home exams, they use the Invigilator app. They don't use Iris, it's only the Invigilator app.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Have all your questions been answered?
Yes, thank you very much, ma'am.
All right. Lafina,
Hello, how are you?
getting yourself.
I'm good, thanks. Okay, I'm not good with this online thingy, so I just wanted to ask that with reference, also with exam, do you also need someone, when you're writing your exam, do you put your reference as well if you're writing an essay? Hello? Hello?
Presenters.
Can I come in quickly? I'm not
Yes,
going to,
please.
I think the other student colleague asked about the length in regards to if the marks are 25. But basically, I'm not sure. It also depends. I always encourage students to not to quantify the pages, except if the instruction is clear in regards to the pages and also maybe the word count. But if instructions are not based on that, you need to also be aware that there are pages which are going to be taken, for example, by the cover page and also the table of content and also the reference list and so on. But in all, if it's 25 marks, I'm looking about close to maybe 2.5 pages. Remember that you'll be typing that, okay? So maybe 2.5 pages will be enough for that in assignment where you cover the content. Regarding taking, when you are writing exams, I'm no colleagues, you need to correct me on that. But what I know is that students are not, so when they are writing an essay during an exam, we don't expect students to provide the in-text referencing and also the reference list, except if it's an assignment. Definitely you have to provide those aspects.
Supported, Mr. Kubeka.
Thank you.
Essays do not require inside citations or end references.
All right. Okay.
William Ngata, the floor is yours. You can pose your question to the floor.
Greetings, everyone. I would like first to ask is the presentation recorded? And if it's recorded, where can it be found?
The session is being recorded. You can find it here on Teams, or you can find it on YouTube.
Oh, okay. The second question of mine is based on license tools, represented by Ms. Parla. May you please help me to understand the list of the tools, license tools that we can use as a UNISA student?
Yes, Tabitha, I actually in the presentation I've listed those that you can use, and importantly, it's rightful. If you follow the links that I've given you, just upload it on your Word document, it will remain there. And the links that will also help is when you, for example, writing a portfolio, you can upload your portfolio in that revised thingy, and it will help you with your grammar, in terms of editing your work. And then also there's also the one that says cite, it will indicate where you have missed the citations. So, but I will send the presenter my PowerPoint, and they can just share it with you guys. I hope that makes sense. And lastly, I was just, when I was supporting Mr. Kubeka, I think what I must clarify is that exam essay types, that's what we mean. But there could be essay types in terms of assignments, then that needs references. But as long as you are in an exam and you have to write an essay, obviously that's your work practically. I just wanted to clarify that, Madam Chair.
Lavina, your hand is, or do you still have a question?
Yeah, like when Ms. Palas says she's gonna share the document, at which platform?
Can I share it with you, Madam Chair?
Yes, you can share it with me or post it on the chat, both.
Oh, okay. Just.
Is that all, William? Lavina, if you have no more questions, may you please remove your hand. Tabiso, if you have a question, please pose it.
Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes.
Before you post your
Can you hear
question,
me?
please, yes, we can hear you, but before you pose your question, I'd like you to all to know that there's been an evaluation posted in the chat. It would be very helpful for us if you could please fill it out. Tabiso, please pose your question.
Good afternoon. My question is for Mr. Molokwane. So I have an MCQ that is due tomorrow, and it requires proctoring, Moodle proctoring webcam. So I did allow the webcam, but then while continuing with answering the questions, it's been telling me that there's a problem with my lighting. I even tried changing places, moved to different rooms, but then still says the very same thing. What could be the problem? Is it because I didn't download the app, or is it maybe I don't have a picture on my profile?
Yeah, if I may, program director.
Go ahead.
You are actually, there's nothing wrong with your system. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. Okay. As long as you allowed your camera and it says that the lighting is not sufficient enough, it means, I'm not sure if you are writing in a room which is well lit or in a room that is not well lit. I will advise you to move into a space where there is sufficient lighting, so that your face can be seen. Can you see your face on the camera while you're writing?
No, I can't actually.
You see, I think there's a problem then, because normally when you share your screen, it must actually show your face as well. Have you done the mock exam? Not mock exam, the mock. Just try the mock. What do you call the mock exam using Moodle? You will see if it still gives you a problem in terms of not showing or displaying your face. Just I will just give me your student number so that we can just check something on your system.
Okay, must I give it to you now?
Or maybe you can. I don't know if we are allowed, because it's. Let me just give you my email address.
Okay.
It's MOLOKD.
MOLOKD. KD.
Yes, at unisa.ac.za. Just send me an email. AC.za.
Okay.
Just send me an email so that we can do an investigation. We can help you. Maybe we can call you.
Yeah, okay, because I have an assessment that is due tomorrow. So it requires the Moodle proctoring and stuff. Yeah.
Something is wrong with your camera. That is what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll send you my my student number via email then.
Yeah, we'll communicate then. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Sorry, Ms. Pala, please don't forget to share your email address as well.
All right. Irene, please pose your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, my question is to Mr. Mulugwane. I just want to understand more about the Invigilator app. So I'm using my laptop to do everything, and then the Invigilator app, I need to download it on my phone. So my question is, if I'm writing an exam on my laptop, how will I still use the Invigilator app on my phone?
If I may throw you again, Program Director. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just scan. Remember, you use the Invigilator app via your mobile. So you scan the QR code, then it actually allows you to be invigilated. You just leave your phone next to your laptop and continue writing. The Invigilator app will invigilate you in the background as long as your phone is on and you are already, you have scanned the QR code. So it will just do its work in the background.
Okay, thank you.
People, the floor is yours. Please pose your question. Sipo, are you available?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, I'm saying on the mock exam, is it like a test run where you check if you can be able to write the exam correctly? Is it where you check yourself first before you go to the actual exam?
Sipo, I'm not sure if the presenters heard your question correctly. Can you speak more clearly?
I'm saying the mock exam. Is it where you test yourself to get ready for the actual exam, so that you are prepared when you're writing your final exam? That's where you prep yourself to see if you are ready to understand what to do in the actual exam.
Through you, Program Director, yeah. The mock exam that we are referring to is for you to test if you can use, if your camera is enabled so that when you write your MCQ or quiz, you won't have any challenges because you have actually partook in the mock exam for the MCQ, the model proctoring. It is not just to test your level of readiness for the other exams, but for using your camera when you are writing a quiz to prepare you thoroughly, so that when you get to that step, when you write an exam, you don't experience any problems.
Okay, so where do you actually get specifically the mock exam?
Come again?
Where on the module side do we get the mock exam?
I'll put it there. I'll put in the link on the chat.
On this chat that you're gonna post.
Yeah, I'll just paste the link for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Rianne, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi everyone, how are you?
We're good, thanks, and yourself?
I'm fine, thanks. The question I have is with the proctoring tools, can I choose any one of the three, or can I use just the Invigilator app?
As I've indicated to you that on your timetable, it will depend which module. Remember, let me just clear this up. If you are writing a quiz, you will use the model proctoring. If you are writing a take-home, which is an essay type of assessment, you will use the Invigilator app. If you are an engineering student and you are writing a quiz or an essay type exam, you will use an iris proctoring tool. So you don't need, you are not going to choose which one you're going to use. We will tell you which one is applicable to which module. So you will receive that information when you receive your timetable as well.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Aslim Singana, please unmute and ask your question. Msimango.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
I have a question about the Proctoring Tools, specifically the Invigilator app. If I recall correctly, Sam Mulugano mentioned that we need to download the Invigilator app on our smartphones. I would like to know if it is mandatory to use our phones to write the exam. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, let me respond. Maybe let's get clarity. When you say you are using your phone, what do you mean you are using your phone when you're writing an exam? Are you downloading a question paper from your phone? Is that what you're implying?
No, my question is based on the Invigilating app. You said we must download it on our smartphones. So I am asking if it is necessary to use the phone to write the exam, or I can use the laptop to write the exam.
Okay, fine. You use the, I think I've tried to explain earlier on to say that the phone, you use it to be invigilated. So you're using your phone and you scan with your phone the QR code that will be made available to you. Then you put your phone next to your laptop. Then you write your exam using your laptop. It's fine. The phone is just there to invigilate you. However, there are other students who are using the phone to download the question paper. It is not a problem with them as well if they download the question paper and use that phone to browse through the question paper, as long as they've scanned the QR code so that they can enable invigilation to happen. It is not a problem. I hope I've answered you.
Thank you so much.
Masaha, please pose your question.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
I wanted to ask you based on the game. On my essay, I use ChatGPT AI for some key points. So then I reference it using, then I use other sources. So when I use AI detector, it says 100%. So when I use the other app to scan for AI content, it says 0%. So is that sarcasm or what? I don't understand. Hello.
May you please repeat your question? You were not audible.
On my assignment, I use AI, but not all for all paragraphs. For key points, I use AI. So I did the reference on AI, and I still use other sources, and I did the reference sources. But when I use an AI detector to code out the AI content. It says 100%, but when I use the other app to send AI content, it says 0%, and it says 100% human. So if I use other apps for AI to code out AI content, and when they use for UNISA, when they use unit or what, and they say it says that it's 100%, will I get penalized?
Can I take it, Madam Chair?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, remember I told you there are tools, AI tools that we will recommend to you. Do not just go out there and get your own tools, because these tools are for money making. Obviously, you don't know the algorithm that they're using. You don't understand the technology behind that tool. So they might do it like that so that you get 0%. But that is not the main issue here. The main issue here is that, how did you write your assignment? Did you read and read and read? And then did you then start writing with understanding and reference? And then you send it to us, or to turn it in for the software that UNISA has procured for you. And if you send it in, turn it in, at least it's an environment that if it says 100%, we will know how to advise you and why it said 100%. But if you take it from turn it in to another one, not addressing the issues that you have found on turn it in, what you're also doing is that these things, because they are on open source, they can duplicate each other. And at the end, you might deal with what I said is self-plagiarizing. So do not put in this one and that one and that one and other people's softwares, and even if we are in at UNISA, I cannot submit it in my environment. It should be in your own. You're creating a huge problem for yourself that you might not be able to address. My advice is that go back to the drawing board, find out exactly how you wrote your stuff by yourself. Do not put any document, if it's your assignment that you have written yourself, in ChatGPT or Copilot. Because if you do that, it holds it as well. And it might also use it to, because it thrives on the feeding. The more we feed it, the more that information remains there. And if you don't understand the technologies, you're creating a mess, not only for yourself, but also for the systems to not work well. So hence I say, go back to the drawing board, read again, understand your concept, rewrite it, and then submit it to turn it in as a first draft, and then see the whole picture. What is it that you need to do? Contact us, let's look at it, and let's talk about it. It seems like it's a huge problem that you have created now. I would approach my lecturer. I would also, you can also come to me. Let me just see exactly what is happening here. But do not take chances by just submitting that kind of work. I'm not even sure that you will understand what I'm saying right now. But the bottom line is, just make sure that you retrace yourself, you get proper consultation, and please, our students, do not use softwares that you get out there you will create a huge problem for yourself. Just ask, and because we are here to support you. I hope, Madam Chair, I'm making sense, because this really, it seems like we need to actually sit with her and really understand the gravitas of this the issue. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And so for assignment writing essay, if someone, for example, like didn't I take correct information, will she or he get wrong? Like zero.
I didn't get that one. I don't know if other presenters had it.
If someone uses a source from maybe from somewhere, maybe from somewhere, internet, and didn't I take it, will he or she get wrong for not taking that?
Madam Chair, can you just rephrase it for me if you heard the student?
Your question is not
repeat it.
very audible. Can you put it in the chat? Or try repeating it again?
Ma'am, I was given a topic to write an essay. So I went to internet and searched for a article. Then I copied some words different from that article. Then I don't type in the article. So will I get zero for doing that?
Okay, let me try. And from what I've heard, you copied an article. You copied some words, you said, from an article on the internet. Yes. You see, that's a huge problem. Don't copy, read, understand, write in your own words. That is the safest way of addressing these issues. But once you copy and paste, that in itself might go, from, it might just get messy somewhere. Because how are you going to know which one you have copied after your assignment is finished or your essay is finished? How are you going to determine which one you have copied and which one you didn't copy? Rather, whatever that you want, read that article, highlight it, the old way of writing or of reading, highlight it and then summarize it in your own words. That's the safest way of doing it. And then when you go to your document, start writing in your own words. If you want, however, to quote, then type it. Type that quote and indicate that you have found it from this author in these pages, because we would then want to see the pages, and we would then want to see if it's Harvard way of referencing. We would then want to see the inverted commas, open and close ones, because though you are telling us that this is not my words, but I'm quoting it verbatim. This is what this person is saying, then that is fine. But avoid copying and pasting. Copying and pasting, it gets messy somewhere, somehow. So I would recommend that you go back and you start afresh, like I'm advising you to do. If that will help, thank you.
And if that's an example, I didn't do any of that. I was just asking. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your questions. Before we move on to the next question, just a reminder, the evaluation link has been posted on the chat. May you please attend to that. Open the link and fill out the questions posted there. For our next question, Mayana, pose your question.
Hi, my first question is, can I go to UNISA campuses to write my exams because I have network issues at home? Will they allow me to go and write at any campus?
I'll speak for the library. Yes, we will accommodate you as long as you can notify us in time and make sure that we understand your needs, what you're going to need. But definitely the library is your home.
Okay. And my second question is, I have a module that does not appear under summative assessment. It does appear on the formative assessment, but under summative assessment, it does not appear. Where can I get assisted? Did you get my question?
Presenters? Is anyone available to take the question?
If maybe I can, the modules, I'm not sure as to what are you referring to, but what I know is that immediately after we have run the admission program, you should be having modules that you are eligible to write in May, June on all platforms. Thank you.
Mayana, is that all?
No, last one. This is not a question. It's just a suggestion. Mr. Mulukwane, he said he will post the link to the mock site under the chat. Can you please pin it, because there's a lot of messages on the chat and it might be difficult for us to find it.
It's fine. I will do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Rian Masera, if you have been answered with your questions, may you please lower your hands. Minentle, please unmute and ask your question.
Hello, how are you?
We good, and yourself?
I'm good, thanks. My question is based on citations. There is an okay, for example, like we have assessments that tell you to like refer to a certain unit. So how do you go about tackling on like citing those kind of assignments when they want you to cite like, yeah? Do you hear what I've asked? Did you hear my question?
Presenters, is anyone available to take the question, or must the students ask again? Inense?
Hello?
Yes, can you please repeat your question?
Okay, so like how do you go about acknowledging the source when you have an assessment that tells you to refer to a certain unit? Maybe for example, like in AFL, we have an assignment name that tells us to like answer the question and refer to maybe unit 3.4 or 3.5. So in that unit, maybe they did not say, for example, like they used to explain that maybe Karen 2000 clearly states that, then they explain something. So how do you go about citing those kind of sources if they did not include the people who wrote that?
Oh, okay, I'll take it, Madam Chair. Remember, it's also your responsibility to search for those documents. And sometimes you might find even more better sources that you can use. You don't necessarily have to specifically use those that they've given you, especially if I'm understanding that that you don't necessarily have the whole or the article or the book at your disposal. But it's important that you read, because it's all about going to an extent of researching and making sure that you get other sources that you can use. And those then because you have read them, then you can reference them. And otherwise, you can ask the lecturer if they can share, because usually they've got those sources at their desktops. So they can share to you to say, okay, this is the article that I've used. But the idea is not just to reference. The idea is to read and then reference. Remember, even what we mean by reference is that it's the list of the things that you have wrote about in your text. Otherwise, it becomes a bibliography, not a reference. A reference is only the sources that you have read and that you wrote about and said, you know, so and so defined this, and then it's going to appear on your reference. But once again, if you stuck with not understanding anything, consult your lecturers with regard to sources, or consult your librarian with regard to sources. I hope that makes sense. But yes, it's difficult to reference something that you don't have. If that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So I have another question.
Before you go on, Minenhle, before you go on, and Ms. Pala, please correct me if I'm incorrect. There's also, if you're using Harvard referencing, if you have the book on how to reference, they do showcase how you can reference unit information from your modules, like how you can use it like within the organization and everything. So like if whatever assessment or assignment you're doing is requiring that you reference specifically from your provided information. I've come across it on Harvard referencing. They do showcase you how to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can reference. In fact, you can reference everything. Like I also alluded to the fact that you can reference these tools, Atlas TI, whatever. The idea is to indicate what you have read and indicate that this is what I've read. If it's a module, like you say, yes, there's a way of referencing that. And once again, if the student's struggling, even if, because sometimes they confuse even the best of professors. So hence I'm always extending that hand of saying, do not struggle alone. But I also know that some of the links that I've given you, they can simplify your referencing. If you say it's a website and then you put in that website link and then say, for example, choose Harvard way of referencing, it will do that. If you say it's a tutorial, reference this for me in Harvard or whichever referencing style, then it will do it for you. But I think some of the things, especially in practice, we have to also have workshops only for referencing, for example. That I think, Madam Chair, will help a whole lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Paula. Noted. Minenhle, do you still have an additional question, or was that all?
No, that's all. Thank you.
All right. Apologies, students. With respect to time, we have run out of time for the questions. May you please continue on posing them on the chat, and our speakers will get to them whenever they have time, or email them on their emails. Moving on to our last section of the day, our closure. Ms. Kolokoto Palesa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rotondra. Good afternoon, colleagues. And as mentioned by the program director, my name is Palesa Kolokoto, and I am a trainee career guidance practitioner based in Florida campus. And I would like to firstly thank the program director, Ms. Rotondra, for steering the ship
cream of the
and
crop,
ensuring the
and
workshop
there is
runs
no
smoothly.
one that
Thank
does
you
it
to
better
Mr.
than the
Sitana for
Macho
that
Man
warm
Randy
welcome
Savage.
and informing
On
us about
balance,
what the
off
workshop
balance
was
doesn't
about
matter. I'm better
so
than
that we
you
can
are,
prepare
yeah. And I'm
our
talking to everyone
minds.
in the World Wrestling
To
Federation.
Dr.
And I'm
Kubeka, thank
even
you for your
talking
informative presentation on the different
President Jack
strategies for
Tunney,
answering
yeah. I'm
multiple
on
questions and
my
essays.
way.
Ms.
And
Pala,
nothing
thank you for
is gonna
always
stop
willing
me.
to share your
Nothing's gonna
insight
stop
on
me.
plagiarism,
I
turn it in,
am
and also how
the
we can use
cream, yeah.
ChatGPT to
The
our
cream of the
advantage. To Mr. Molokwane, thank you, sir, for your insightful presentation on the different proctoring tools we need to use when writing exams, and also reminding us to ensure that we prepare properly for the exam by also completing a mock exam. Mr. Mediga, thank you for your presentation on examination support and services, where you informed us on the different steps to take when experiencing any issues during exams. Ms. Mazubuko, thank you for your presentation on the different kinds of academic misconduct and the different disciplinary measures put in place for the individuals who commit any of the academic misconducts. And lastly, thank you, colleagues, students, for taking time off your schedules to attend this workshop. We hope that you have a fruitful day and good luck with all your exams. Thank you.
Presenters, students, thank you so much for joining us. This concludes our meeting for the day. We look forward to having you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, can find a sounds really good for your experience.